Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. As you can see, we are still streaming. We are going to be continuing to do our Zax and Slopper paint job. This is Zax's Christmas morning. At the beginning of the last video, I didn't actually do a little rundown of where we are so far. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to save for now, make sure we don't lose anything. It's coming along so nicely. So, what we have got is... we have got our Christmas pudding bombs, we've got a Christmas tree ear, Rudolph's glowing red-nosed bauble, we've got Zax in his Christmas pyjamas, he's been given a Christmas outfit, a Santa outfit to wear on the day, his gun is in wrapping paper, we're going to do the other half in reindeer wrapping paper, we have turned our boomerang things into wreaths, we are currently working on doing the leaves to make it look a little bit more wreath-like, so we're going to stick those in there as well. We've got candy cane mounts on the back. We've got the saddle sorted out in the gold trim with Santa's boots. We've got the eye as a giant bauble. We've got... I think there was something else. I feel like there was one more thing that I've forgotten, and I can't remember what it is. We'll have to do Slopper more. Is there any... oh, carrots here for Slopper. There we go. So this is our paint job so far. We are working on getting that improved. We're going to be wrapping the other half of the gun. I'm going to try and speed up with my making this look like wreaths because, I'll be honest, it has taken a while. So, let's just flip it back over, get to the bottom here and zoom in and carry on with it while we just keep chatting to Spooky and Chat. I don't mind a crit. Getting critted 4 times in a row, that starts to feel bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't think crits that often in a row happen regularly. Funnily enough, I actually had a game while I was recording earlier on where just crits just seemed to be coming out of every orifice for both players. There was about like 5 crits in the first like 4 or 5 turns, and it was completely wild. I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, they just kept appearing and disappearing, and like models just kept suddenly losing health at rates I never anticipated. It was great fun. I really enjoyed it. It was completely absurd. But it was very hard to predict, which is, again, something that some people find difficult in a strategy-based game, which, again, completely valid, completely understandable, but I was having great fun. I was seeing all the big animations come up with the big numbers and be like, yeah, big numbers! Because I'm a giant child. Whereas some people who play this game are real adults. I'm just one that pretends to be. That's why, at, 33 years old, I started a YouTube channel. Technically, I started at 32. It has been my birthday since. Oh yeah, I'm not really an adult. Don't worry. There's no real chance of that. Right, so this is our first part of the wreath. So this may look weird to you guys, but I've just covered up part of the screen with my hand. I actually think that looks like good as a wreath. So like, where's a good angle? Maybe here. So if I moved it to like here. If you like triple this, I think that's a pretty good wreath. Like, I wouldn't doubt that that was a wreath. I might even do like a white trim on the ribbon, that could work. Similar to how we did on the wrapping up here. Right, so back to the grind, but this time the grind isn't winning games, it is painting leaves. So we're just going to go at a rapid pace here because I've started to realise I'm doing that thing again, Spooky, that we both said we do, is painting things that no one is going to see the difference of, so I'm just going to start... Like, there was a part of me at one point that was looking at doing all, like, the little... what are they called? Not veins, but... you know what I mean, in the leaves where you start seeing all the... like, where the water goes up and the channels and all that sort of thing. Maybe it is veins. But yeah, so I was looking at considering doing that for a while, and I think that is well and truly out the window now. Now I just want this to look somewhat like a wreath. I cannot believe I was even considering that. No one is ever going to look that closely, and if they do, I am sorry I didn't paint the veins onto it. You can have a heartfelt apology individually for each person that thinks that it's an issue. I will absolutely apologise constantly, but I will still think if every single person that watched this video asked for an apology, I still think that would take me less time than actually painting them on. So no doubt in my mind that this is the right choice. Okay, let's get this up here. Just a couple there. Oops, I forgot to hold shift there. You wouldn't believe this, but I'm not actually using the toggled auto masking. I am literally just holding shift all the time because I'm an efficient person. I really enjoy carpal tunnel. Just to clarify, I do not have carpal tunnel. Apologies to anyone who does have carpal tunnel. I'm sure it's actually a horrible thing to have. I would not like that in the slightest. I was just making a horrifically inappropriate remark, so apologies to anyone who may have been offended there. Wasn't meant in spite, just to point out that I'm being an idiot and putting my comfort and possibly digit health at risk for the sake of drawing leaves onto an imaginary frisbee weapon that I'm trying to turn into a Christmas wreath, which is possibly the worst reason to ever injure yourself known to man. Someone's like, oh, how did you get your injury in your hand or your little finger or whatever? I'd be like, I was drawing a Christmas wreath onto a weaponized boomerang frisbee. Or disc, or whatever you want to call it. I think my doctor would just be like, are you actually joking? Like, I know we have the NHS here, but we're not paying for that, you're just stupid. Also, not how the NHS works, to clarify, for anyone who's wondering that abroad. The NHS is wonderful, we love them. I don't know a single person who doesn't really love the NHS, so please don't hurt me, NHS. You are my favourite thing about this country. Well, you hear all these stories about people being like... I'm just going in like, let's offend the best things about this country and also people with genuine ailments. Let's go for it. Yeah, no, genuinely, the NHS is the best thing about the UK, in my opinion. It is an unbelievably good system. I feel like healthcare absolutely is a universal right. I cannot believe that any country in the world has a privatised health system fully, but let alone to the extent that some of them don't even have anything near what we've got. Terrifying that we might be losing some of it as the government just gradually sells it all off, but who knows. Basically spooky is where, you know, according to most people, it's the system where there's nothing to stop us all jumping off of buildings, so we do so on a regular basis to cost the government loads of money. Pretty sure that's what all the fear-mongering says, like... No, I know you were being sarcastic. I don't worry. I didn't think you didn't know what universal healthcare was. What I was saying was what I've often heard as the arguments against it, and healthcare costs $500 a month, but you get $300 back with your taxes. No, I really wasn't. I was talking about what I've heard, like Fox News say was the downside of universal healthcare. Honestly, Corilla, that's probably about the same as I pay, because we do pay for the NHS, like in part. It comes out as what's called national insurance, so it's sort of like a tax, but it just comes out of your wages. You never see it in your bank account. You never, have a chance to spend it. It's just there, and honestly, like, that is probably about the same as I pay. I don't know if you've got you've got all your deductibles and things over there and things like that, but that's something we don't have. So essentially, we're paying roughly the same amount, but there is no limit to what I can have in terms of healthcare. Oh, man, if this didn't come out looking so nice. I mean, my taxes don't also go to fund the world's largest military, but they fund a military. There is military funding coming out of my taxes. It's just not another country's military. Oh yeah, no, I'm aware. Don't worry. My school used to have a lot of people that were military kids, and there's some really weird things you hear. My favourite story is that there was to use the American phrasing to suit my audience, after 9/11, there was a threat of terrorist attack in the south of England somewhere, and basically what happened was they didn't know where the threat was going to be. They knew roughly which part of the country it was being planned in and that sort of thing. So what they did was they gave high-ranking military officers SA-80 rifles and about 2,000 rounds each to take to their homes, which doesn't really happen in the UK. Like, people don't generally have firearms at home very often. If they do, it's for going, like, clay pigeon shooting and that sort of thing, and, like, occasionally hunting, but even then not that often. So it was a really big deal. They gave out thousands of these guns to high-ranking military officers, and then there genuinely was a threat. They found the threat, they've sort of stopped it happening, they arrested the people involved, and it was a great success. The downside was that they forgot who they gave all the rifles to and just never collected half of them back. So my friend's dad and him, once a year, went out rabbit hunting with an SA-80 assault rifle, and basically said that most of the time there just wasn't any rabbit left by the end of it. So that's a typical British military style of thing, is just do something really well but find a way to still make it a mistake. That is absolutely a true story as well. Military grade rifle in public hands and people just not giving them back and deciding, yeah, but we just would rather keep them and have fun because the military forgot who they gave them to. Utter incompetence from the person arranging it, but luckily the people they went to were responsible people because they are, like I said, ranking officers in the military. But yeah, I don't actually know if that ever was like public knowledge, but I think the military decided that because it was responsible people who had access to it, they weren't bothered about who gave them back in the end, because they were just like, well, we haven't given them to anyone who's at a risk. It's not like we've just given them to like 26 members of the public or like 2,000 just blokes down the pub. We've given them to high-ranking military officers who shouldn't have kept them, but if they did, probably won't misuse them. Okay. I mean, there's also the chance that the person who told me the story, my friend, is lying because we were teenagers at school, so, you know, don't take it as gospel, anything I'm saying here. There's enough things that teenagers say, but like, I do believe it. I genuinely do. I'm not a particularly gullible person, and that does sound like something that would happen. And I've got no reason to believe that person would lie. Like, we're not friends now or anything, but like, we were at the time. They weren't particularly known for embellishing, but who knows of these things? It doesn't matter to me. I trust the people that were in that position. So do we think that looks enough like a wreath? Or do we want to try and put some other little embellishments on it of some kind? I mean, this looks so good. If this model doesn't at least get considered, I'm going to be very disappointed. Like, I think this is a thing of beauty. Again, I cannot believe how many hours I'm spending on this. This will be our 5th hour painting this model, by the way. We're actually already in our 5th hour painting this model, so we've done 4.5 so far. So we're on our way towards hour 5. And given that we're trying to do so rapidly, it is amazing how much we've still got left to do. And at least this time there is now a record of it. So when I say to people like, "Oh, I've got like another 7-hour paint job or whatever," I can now show them evidence that I have spent this long painting one model. Let's split that up slightly. The annoying thing is, I actually think these lines really do make the wreath look wreath-like, so I can't even justify skipping out on them on the other side or going easy or anything. I am definitely speeding up and just not caring about the shape as much. Oh, well, I'm constantly plugging my YouTube. I will plug my YouTube anywhere I can, because I'm really proud of all the things I've been doing. Yeah, there's so many hours you can spend in painting a model that, like, a weekend plan isn't even unreasonable in terms of, like, oh, what you can do this weekend? I'm going to paint one model on a digital tabletop game. And people will be like, really? One model? I'm like, no, yeah, one. Hang on a second, I think I might have just heard the door. Bear with me, I might be back in a second. Okay, so it turns out I did not hear the door, and I've just let some of the heat out of my lovely warm room for no reason. Boo. Hang on. Oh, I've knocked the... There's a little twisty thing. I am the YouTuber for Moonbreaker. I actually think that is still correct. I don't think there's anyone else doing it at the moment. So I will absolutely... Like, the thing is, though, there's at least 12 more people who play Moonbreaker than I have YouTube subscribers. So I demand 12 more subscribers. As is my right. That's how it works, right? Okay, so... 23. See, 23 I think would be a bit starting to get warm for me, yeah. At the moment, I'm on 19 in here, I think. Hang on. So I've got a carbon monoxide detector in here because, as is, you know, a wonderful idea for every room, the boiler in our house is just behind me here. So we have a carbon monoxide detector just in case. And it also switches... There it goes, 18 degrees in here at the moment, so... Strange enough, 18 degrees is a temperature I'm usually okay with. In our living room at the moment, 18 degrees for some reason does not feel warm. Like it feels actively cold. So we're constantly putting the heat boost on our little heater because it's got a little button thing saying like heat boost, and it takes it up to supposedly 22. I'm not convinced that room has ever got to 22 degrees. Like Celsius, centigrade, whatever it is. So I'm not quite sure if the heat boost even works properly, but it absolutely has never been 22 degrees in there. I've never gone in and thought, oh, that's hot. See, this is the problem with you guys using the Imperial system. It's like, I literally hear that temperature and I think that you must be in some sort of like burnt state. Like I worry for your health. If you're here 70 degrees, I'm like, kind of just think you guys might be unwell. Like, have you been to the doctors? If you're surviving that without feeling uncomfortable, you've probably got some sort of major illness. Yeah, exactly. 70's at 22, 23. Okay, so that's like quite warm, yeah. Oh, this looks so good. Like it actually looks like a wreath. I hope you guys think the same. If this doesn't look like a wreath to you, then I'm slightly sad, but yeah, like some people do just get colder than others. But yeah, does this look wreath-like to you guys enough? Do you think it needs more definition? Do we think I need to do something else to it? Because I don't want to start the other one until I've got this one pretty much sorted in my mind. I think this looks quite good. I'm not sure about if it needs something more. I genuinely think after we've done these, the main thing that's going to need attention is Slopper's fur. Try and bring that up to like the same standard, and then obviously drawing more reindeer over here. Funnily enough, if we want to make this look highlights with a brighter green. So how would you want highlights done? Do you mean just like a slightly lighter line along the edges, as in like a dry brush sort of thing? Or like on each leaf? Each leaf? You're gonna make me cry. You can get a messy dry brush that makes it look slightly like a cactus. I don't think there is much of me that's going to have the patience to make that every leaf. Like, I will go back to my my picture of a wreath and see if there's something else I can fit in to make it look wreath-like. In fact, actually, one thing I do want to try is just getting this haze and trying to see if highlighting the ribbon slightly. So, opacity but thin brush makes it a little clearer. What do we think of that? Is that a positive change or is that a negative change? Because I can do that fairly easily. But then, if I do that, do I then just obviously do it on the... do it on here as well? Like, is that a worthwhile change to make? Because I don't hate that. That looks kind of nice. But I'm not completely sure. Do you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to make a duplicate and save it. Thought I heard the front door again. No, doesn't sound like it. Yeah, I was thinking a small set of bells. Let's go back to my phone for the image, because I was thinking maybe like a flower, like a pine cone or a bauble, or... Well, the thing is, they'd be easy enough to draw as just little bells. Let's see what we've got here. Hang on a second. There's no cars outside either, so I can't figure out why I keep hearing noises. Yeah, because we've got things like... So like this would be fairly easy to draw on a couple of bells like that. Like, they don't need to be in huge detail. Let's try a couple, see what we can do. And see... Because the easiest thing with this is what I like doing for anything where I'm just drawing a circle is to just airbrush it on and just hold it in place. So say if we wanted to do 2 on each section. Let's do the other one here. Here. Hey Emil, how you doing? Lovely to see you. I'm trying to figure out what time it must be for you, because it must be a really bizarre time. I can never remember. Is it like 11 hours apart our time zones are? So you've joined us in the middle of painting my Zaxxon Slopper. Yeah, so yeah, it is 11 hours apart. So we're currently at 11 PM on Friday night over here. I'm currently making Zaxxon Slopper into basically Zax's Christmas morning for the holiday painting contest. So this is his Christmas wreath we've got over here. And then, so I've put, this is like, I'm on to 4 hours and 40 minutes painting this project. So this is like a massive undertaking. So we've got Christmas puddings that Slopper's eating over here. We've trying to make Slopper as like Rudolph and Zax's Christmas morning. His eye is a little bauble, so we've got that going on. We're just painting the weapons, like we said, as wreaths. So we're just looking at putting some bells on them. His ear has become a Christmas tree. So we've got his ear over here with a little Santa hat on it, because that's what we actually have on our real Christmas tree downstairs. We've got a little bauble over here, so this is going to be like, instead of Rudolph's nose, we've got this going on. We've got Zach's in his pyjamas, his Christmas pyjamas, and he's got his new outfit to Zach's that he's been gifted as well. We've drawn tape and gift wrap on his rifle, so to pretend it's one of his presents as well. We've got carrots in the back to give to Slopper. We've also got candy cane grips for his feet on this as well. So this is all of our little competition entry for the holiday painting contest. And we're working on making these wreaths at the moment. Oh yeah, in a minute we're going to be moving back to making reindeer print gift wrap for the other half of the gun. So it's going to be half wrapped in this like stripy paper with the ribbon, and the other half in like reindeer wrapping paper. So a lot of time and effort has gone into this to make it look Christmassy or festive, and I really would love it if I could get like at least an honourable mention in the painting contest that goes on, because I've put so much time and thought into this. I'm genuinely trying really hard to make a really good festive entry for a bit of entertainment value. So I just need to figure out where we are going with this. I feel like I've ruined the size of this somehow. I don't think I changed the size of this, but somehow this is not the same size that these were before. Okay, there we go, that'll do. So we're just, in fact, I'm going to stop for the moment, and I'm going to draw. I'm making these into a couple more bells. Like this is a bell in the middle, so we're going to make these little bells as well to make them look more like wreaths. So just airbrush these in. But yeah, how is it Melbourne? I swear you were Melbourne, weren't you? Like Melbourne based. But yeah, how is it on this lovely, well, Saturday morning, I suppose? It's still weird that it's morning for anyone, because it's like my partner's still out for Friday night. Like, can we make this look like the bell in the middle without it bleeding over too much? I'm not sure. Maybe it needs to be a bit bigger than that. The worrying thing here is if we do too many, I'm going to end up ruining all the hard work you end up putting into this, and we can't even do that until we've done this other one as well. So maybe I'll leave that for now and just carry on doing this with the little paint, smoke, and just paint our little leaves again. So let's get the right brush size. Yep, this is unfortunately about the right size. So thousands of little leaves, here we come. This is the right paint. It doesn't look opaque enough. I was like, Corolar was here, who's another, very much someone who's always in all the streams, and was suggesting that I go through and highlight every one of these individual leaves that I've just taken so long drawing. And I've done what I do in every job, is start super detailed and then realise that it's so unnecessary, and that I can just go ahead and chill out and take it easy, do it at speed, and nobody is going to look close enough to worry about the definition of an individual leaf on a tiny little wreath on a digital tabletop game. I need to get it out of my head that these things matter sometimes. I can just turn my brain off, draw a bunch of lines, and it'll be good enough. Like, nobody is going to know the difference between whether they're snake scales or leaves or anything at all, so I need to stop trying so hard to make my own life difficult. Hopefully your pastel crankbait's coming along nicely as well, because last time I saw it looked pretty good. You had a few, I think you'd done like your second or third run over of it as well. That was always a good look. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, just bigger leaves, faster drawing, less sadness, less time spent doing the same monotonous thing, so that people can watch this and find entertainment value in it rather than just me drawing 1,000 leaves. Do you know what? If anyone's really wanting something to do in the comments, feel free to go through. That was just a square, but whatever. Feel free to go through this and tell me how many leaves I drew. I don't think anyone's going to, and I'd be very upset with you if you did, because that would just be super depressing. Yeah, people love painting, but I don't think someone's going to go back and count every individual leaf that I've drawn. But hopefully this is like a pretty chill vibe. Spooky, if this ends up only being 400 leaves, I think something's gone really wrong. Like, I've done way more than 400. Like, each row of these is like 10 to 20, I think. And I've done like 10 or 15 rows on each one. Yeah. Like, even this, since I've just been doing this, this is one row. One section even. Okay. I can't even see because of the shine here. Okay, let's keep filling this in, get speedy. Okay, we're getting there. I don't know why I keep doing one side, then like part of it the next, then the next bit, and then I was like, why don't I just do all of one section at once? I think I just get carried away with whatever I'm doing at the time. I think we should get XP per brushstroke on a unit as well. My Zax will be legendary by now. Okay. Use the stipple effect to get 1,000,000 XP per painting session. Each little dot would count as a brushstroke. Okay, so now we can actually move around here, start making real progress onto the back. Maybe I'm too zoomed out again. A little bigger. Yeah, some people would be done with the battle pass in minutes if you just got XP per paint stroke. Well, interesting enough, when I do a lot of my normal models, I barely do any strokes because I just auto mask the whole thing, do like a wash and a dry brush, and then call it a day, and like just do little sections of this stuff. Like, I don't do that much detail. It's only the painting competition ones and the exterior that I've been working on that's actually been anything more than that. Because the exterior I really like, it's my pride flag exterior. And I think it's looking awesome with all the gold and the white and then all the pride colours, which I absolutely love. I know that I've just started doing the leaves the opposite direction on this as well. Yeah, but masking is in this game for a reason. Like, if I had to do every single model like fully painted and like do it with detail without using the masking, I'd probably never paint. Honestly, I wouldn't even enter the contests. I would just be out of the painting whatsoever. No chance you would ever catch me spending that much time on it if you can't use the little cheaty tools, because I'm not good at art. Like, I'm legitimately not great. Like, even these little lines are not as neat as anyone else's that I've seen do this, but that's because they're probably not stupid enough to do this much time making a wreath look like a wreath. And unlike Echo Clone's snareling, I don't need this to look uniform. A bit of roughness. No worries, Emil. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it a lot. If you've, yeah, well, just enjoy your morning, I suppose. Have a nice chilled time, get a coffee. And hopefully I'll see you soon. If you're going to stream, give me a shout. If you're streaming Moonbreaker, I will be there without a doubt. Okay. Let's see what we can get going here. Okay, sorry, bear with me. Just checking more things on my phone. Okay. I'm actually just going to quickly have a look on the Discord while I'm here as well. Oh, it's just me streaming. I thought there'd be more people than that, to be honest. I thought I would definitely not be the only one. But let's see if anything's popping up. Oh, you're doing another stream to Tuesday morning. Monday evening. I think I'm free Monday evening. Yeah, I'm actually free Monday evening as well. So I'm definitely going to be tuning into that then, because I had to figure it out for a second, because I'm actually playing a real life tabletop game in the day on Monday for me. So yeah, I'll absolutely be free. I'd love to come and see you guys playing. It was really fun watching the last one as well. I went back and watched some of the VODs of anything I didn't see as well. It turns out there's been a few like squad streams going on recently, and they've been really good. So, absolutely love to see that again. Oh, we can sort out everything's up in the air now. Like even the good roster lists are now bad after the patch changes. So we're not bad; they're not as good. So there's loads of fun to be had. Just stick Florio in a list, and I'm sure it'll win eventually. But yeah, no, I can definitely have a look in there. We can have some fun with that. I will be there without a doubt if I can be. But yeah, have a cracking morning. Have a delicious coffee. I said it, assuming you drink coffee. Yeah, you and Shin are some of my favourite streamers to watch when I can do. Yeah, it sounds like a plan. I'll speak to you soon. What's the ouch, Spooky? What ouch? What's happened? I don't understand the ouch. I don't get where the ouch is coming from. Oh, yeah, but Spooky, I've literally only been able to tune into your stream like once or twice, and I was specifically referring to the sponsored streamers as well. There's actually so many good sponsored streamers, it's really hard to pick. I was going through a few of them, and Emil was the one I actually ended up going for my my Twitch Prime sub, because I decided I wanted to give it to one of the Moonbreaker sponsored streamers, and I picked Emil in the end just because it was a really chilled vibe and like really positive mind, a positive attitude. It was a really fun stream to just sit around in, and I really enjoyed that a lot. So there was a few people to choose between. It was going to be Emil, Shinmiri, who's the other one we've mentioned there as well. So Shin's probably getting my Prime sub next month because I want to share it out between people if they're still streaming Moonbreaker specifically. Because as much as I'd love to support other people, I think I want to keep my support as much Moonbreaker focused as possible. Also Queen E, who's really interesting as well. She was a really chilled out person. Turns out she's actually only about an hour and a half from where I live in England, even though she's Swedish. And then Bengineering, so if you've played Magic, Loading Ready Run, there's a guy on there called Ben who, I think there's two Bens actually, but one of the Bens who's a really entertaining guy is streaming Moonbreaker as well, and I've had so much fun watching him, so he was on the list as well. And then Bricky, who, Bricky's really good as well, but Bricky's not in the slightest struggling for viewership or subs it seems, so it probably wouldn't go to Bricky, but I really did enjoy Bricky's streams as well. I've literally been in every single Moonbreaker stream I could possibly be, including yours, Spooky, and you know that. I'm not trying to leave you out of anything. Also, welcome to anyone who's joined the stream. I can see we're up a few viewers, so if you're not been here before, if you're new, feel free to say hello. I am a YouTuber a fledgling YouTuber trying to make Moonbreaker content. At the moment, we are doing painting for a holiday painting contest. That's due. Basically, entries have to be submitted by the 19th, and so we are just working on this. We are now we're at 4 hours and 54 minutes painting this mini, which sounds absurd, but actually we've put a lot of detail and effort into this, so we're making really good progress. We've got this beautiful Christmas Zax that basically we're trying to paint it so that all of the things that Zax has on his character model, we want to make it look like he's got them all for Christmas morning. So he's going to be trying them all out on Christmas Day. He's got his new Santa outfit. These are going to be wreaths as his weapons. He's got a new gun that's going to be wrapped up in gift wrap or wrapping paper and that sort of thing. So we're really having fun putting this together. We've put some Christmas puddings in there instead of mines. We've got everything we could possibly imagine. I'm still trying to figure out one or two things. He's got candy canes in his on his saddle that's a stand on. Oh, I've just realised there's another section to go. I thought this was the last one. We've got one more section to look at, and then we will have to put some bells on these to make them look more like wreaths. We've got the obviously big bell in the middle, but from looking at it, I think it just needs one more embellishment of some kind to make it look definitely like a wreath and not just like a green leafy circle, which, I mean, admittedly, that is literally what a wreath is. my leaf shapes are getting less and less leafy and more just abstract, darkish lines. So let's for the last few try and get back to some sort of leaf shape on this panel. But yeah, feel free to drop any questions in if you've got any, if you've got anything you want to ask, if you think I'm being an idiot or doing something wrong, also happy to hear it. Pretty chilled out vibe in general here, not out to stress anyone out. Okay, so that is round 2. We've got our mistletoe beads, berries. Berries are those things that they are. That's what we're on about, mistletoe berries. So that's what we've got next. So we're getting really close. This is our last bit of this fiddly, repetitive. This almost feels like the data entry of painting. And trust me, I have done my fair share of data entry. I have done many hours. One of my entire jobs, I had such a bad automated system that one person's shift every single day was entering the data from everyone else's work into a spreadsheet because the system couldn't cope on its own. The system was that bad that we had to manually replace it with an Excel spreadsheet that people just filled in. And I am absolutely glad that that is no longer my job, but something I've done, so no shade on data entry there, but it is not an enjoyable thing a lot of the time. Okay, let's keep getting this done. But yeah, so if anyone here is new or got questions, or even if you don't, just say hello, and it'd be lovely to see a new face in the chat, or even just an old one if that's who you. If someone who's been here before, it'd be great to hear from you. Do you know what? I like call center over data entry. I've done both, but I prefer call center. I like having the immediacy. So if it's strange because I can work very fast and very efficiently, but I work best if there is something in front of me making me do it. So like if a phone call comes in, I won't leave it unanswered. I will get it dealt with. I'll get it done quickly. Anything that comes off of that, I'll do it immediately. And often that to me, I tend to do a lot better in like productiveness routes when I have that sense of, I can't avoid it. I'm just going to get on and do it to the work. And I really quite enjoy that because I like being productive. I like being good at my jobs. So it's just one of the reasons why being off of work at the moment is quite difficult for me, because I feel like I should be back at work. So it does give me time to do more Moonbreaker, and that's one of the things that's been keeping me sane, is feeling like I've got a second job. Do you know what? And this isn't one of those like, oh, I might do this, though I might have that sort of thing. I genuinely feel like there is a reasonable chance that I might have ADD, because I've got a friend who was adult diagnosed with ADD, and the symptoms are obviously very different in adults than they are in children, and all of the things that they said they were having issues with that have come down to like, why they ended up going for a diagnosis are things that I regularly find myself struggling with. I'm like, maybe I should consider this and like actually look into maybe going to a doctor and seeing if there's an option for that at some point. But hey, that's not where we are right now. Right now we are painting leaves, or just black lines in vaguely the shape of leaves, I suppose I should say. Yeah, fair enough. It's very different for kids and adults, isn't it? Because obviously as an adult, it doesn't go away, but you've got like coping mechanism things, and it's sort of, the symptoms are much easier to spot in a child because that's what people are used to. Whereas my friend who was adult diagnosed was just like, it's people didn't really know what to look for. It's sort of like, it's still a new thing, people diagnosing adults with it. Which I found out the other day, actually. It was a really interesting fact on a completely different side of things. Just because I was thinking of like conditions and things that are like relatively recent. I heard recently that the first person ever to be diagnosed with autism is actually still alive. Like they're I think they're 90s now, I think. But yeah, in terms of like relatively recent conditions, because obviously ADD has been something that we learn more about on a regular basis, and there's a lot more sort of knowledge about there now than there was even like 10-15 years ago. But yeah, like I just assumed that autism had been known about for much longer. But yeah, no, the first person ever to be diagnosed is still alive, which is an amazing, like, fact. I love things like that you just don't expect. Like there's people alive now who I think might have been alive at the same time as Picasso and things like that, and you just think, but that seems like it would have been hundreds of years ago, like not just beginning of the last century. Like, it's so strange. Yeah, really weird. I can't, like, I don't do well with, like I said, with history and geography and maybe sport. That's where my knowledge sort of falls down. I like to think I'm quite interested in sciencey stuff. I don't have a science background, I'm not educated in science, but I'm interested in it, and I find that up to a certain point I can still understand what's going on. But oh, absolutely, yeah, there's so many things that we can't, like, I find it amazing at the moment we literally have just lived through times that are going to be in history textbooks. Like, COVID is going to be in history textbooks, like, in the future. There's no way it can't be. Like, we actually have lived through history. No, the only time I ever actively looked through history on purpose was after watching... I watched the King's Speech, and I decided to go back through and look to see the history of the different people in there and how closely related they are to current, you know, royals and that sort of thing, and find out a bit more about it, which was quite interesting to me. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this just to save it again. I still think we just need a save button on this screen to not get worried about things. Okay, so we're really getting there now. I think this is a masterpiece. Oh, Zach's in his pyjamas. Like, I don't think the beard looks too bad here. I think it could do with a little bit more definition, maybe. I've already given it, like, a colour and a wash and all that sort of thing. Oh, in fact, someone was saying the other day, actually, if I airbrush haze quite small, just to about here, it makes the eye look a little bit more realistic, supposedly. Maybe like here. A bit too big. So if we do that and then airbrush char into the middle. Just painting that in slightly. He's got a little like glint in his eye now, actually. Yeah, that actually looks kind of good. Although, funnily enough, I actually think it should be facing this way. So let's drop of this. What colour was that? Go back to airbrush. Actually have it facing this way. So we want it slightly bigger. One of the things I learned was you actually want it slightly bigger than you really want it to be. So the question, does that now look down the gun? No. So if we shrink it down again, let's go with this. Yeah, this could work. Okay, and then get our smoke in there. Again, we want it about here, so just fill that in, and then go for haze and just I think that looks right. Yeah, that looks a lot more like he's looking down the barrel of the gun. Interesting enough. Okay, I've never realised this before, but this gun is poorly designed for shooting like this. Because if you look, there's no way he can actually see the top of the iron sight with his eye. Maybe just actually. I don't think he can see the sights properly. Yeah, no, I don't think this gun's very well suited for shooting like that, Zax. I think you need to get your head in here. Anyway, I need to stop being a pedant and just go back to... stop being a pedant. Go back to drawing things onto wreaths. Okay, so I think we are going bells. So let's just try and do one bell first and get the idea of it. I don't know what you mean, Spooky. So let's go with one. In fact, if we lay them out, there are 2 spikes on each one, so we can just do it at the base of each spike. So how does it look if we just do these and not worry about doing anything else? Ooh, a squirrel. I mean, to be fair, I have kept thinking I'm hearing sounds. I've kept thinking I've heard sounds. So let's do these others while we're at it without zooming or anything. We put these on the bell side, so it'll be this side. Okay, so these are on the wreath. And then what I think we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of smoke. A small one, just to do a little... I want to make it look like they're held up slightly, so... What about just a paint one then? Just like a little... In fact, what about a little silver hook? Steel hook, rather. Do a little bit of steel. Yeah, that can work. Get that realism going. And then we can draw the little bell faces on the bottom. Let's just run to there. Okay. So I'm making sure these all line up so they're like correct with gravity. And then we can go back to smoke, airbrush slightly bigger. And we just airbrush something like here. It's done this again. So if we just airbrush a dot around here, and can we get So I think we actually only do the one on these and then just connect them up lower. And just make it out like we can't see the others. So if we just lower the size of this and just draw a little line down from each of these. Okay. Okay, how do we think of this? Spooky specifically. What do you think of this as a wreath? Anyone else, if you've got an opinion as well, but does that look noticeably like a wreath to you guys? Like, if you looked at that, would you think, yeah, that's a wreath? That's the big question. I think so. I still think I want to do the white highlights or the white like bordering on the ribbon maybe. But other than that, I think this looks right. Magic Arena, nice. Good, okay, I'm glad this is starting to get where we want it to be. So let's go to... See, this all would be so much easier if Slopper didn't have 4 hands and 4 ears. Stupid giant... what's it called? Giant rabbit. Oh dear. I cannot believe this, that we're now into our 6th hour, so we've gone 5 hours and 10 minutes of this painting nonsense. Oh, do you mean my mini? Or do you mean just the actual, like, the model? Yeah, the Founders Pack ones look great. Okay, let's get these in. Do you know what? Once I've done these, I think I'm going to have to do yet another YouTube introduction, because we've been here long enough that this is now going to go into our possibly 4th YouTube video from the same piece of content. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Let's just give it smaller. But yeah, we're going to have to, once we've done this, we're going to have to do our 4th intro to the same video. Yes, Spooky, go on then, what's the by the way? Yeah, I was thinking, like, does it even show? But I think we need just the little edge of it here. I was just thinking the exact same thing, because I was like, it kind of looks like it almost covers it up, but we just need the little tiniest bit sticking out. So what I'll do for that is I'm just going to move really close in and just try and draw one in. Oh, it doesn't look anywhere near as neat. Okay, that's not too bad if we just round that off slightly. There we go. That works. Okay. Right, so this is where we're going to leave this part of the video. So in the next one, we're going to finish doing the gift wrap with reindeer. We're going to try and do the borders of the ribbons on here. Yeah, no, I'd already considered that as an option. I was thinking like maybe we could get away with it, but I didn't think we quite could. We're going to need to do basically the rest of Slopper's coat, and maybe look at any sort of like highlights or shadows and that sort of thing. We need to sort out the kneecaps, which I keep saying but keep not knowing what to do with. This little like base station for his ears, maybe like rough this up a little bit. So we've still got a few things to work on, but I am so proud of the progress for this. Like, this has been probably my favourite painting project so far. I really feel like I've got a theme to run with. I've had great help from chat, so thanks everyone who's been chatting. We've had Dragon Raven, Spooky, Corilla. Like, this has been fantastic. Emil's popped in as well to say hello, so we've had loads and loads of input here. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, the candy canes. I forgot we did the candy canes as well. That wasn't even this video. Oh my goodness, so I'm gonna stop this here, pull into one last video, and then hopefully we're gonna do all the finishing touches from there. So thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. Tell me how you think the painting is going. I'm proud of it. Would you be proud of it too? And most importantly, have a good day.